welcome into my channel. Y'all, I know it's been a while, but if you are new here, I am Miss J, aka the Blurred Bae. My mind has been going crazy about this anime that I just recently watched. I've watched a bunch of shows, but Seventh Time Loop. Yo, when I tell you, this one has been on my mind. So I wanted to just do a little get ready with me since I've already got to get out of here and talk about this show that has been on my brain. So we're gonna do a little anime and makeup today, and I hope y'all enjoy it. I just thought this might be fun. So maybe I should get some context for those that maybe have not seen the show, because you're gonna need it for this ride that we're about to go on. Okay, so Seventh Time Loop, which the full title is actually Seventh Time Loop, the villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. And listen, I'm gonna tell y'all first and foremost right now that this show is anything but a carefree life. Okay, like our main character, who is a female MC, she is working very, very hard. But anywho, it's a light novel that is written by Toko Amekawa, and the story follows the journey of Rishi Irmgard Weitzner. I don't even know if I said that correctly. It sounded good. Rishi is a character. She's super cute. She has this like beautiful pink hair. She's dolled up. When we very first meet her, we literally see her in this giant banquet hall full of people, and it looks like it's a guy on stage basically getting ready to make an announcement to everyone. It is her fiance who is getting ready to break up with her, and does publicly break up with her and ends their engagement. First of all, I don't know about y'all, but that would have been humiliating for me. After she gets broken up with, she sort of goes through these experience of emotions that I think anybody would sort of go through, especially if you're publicly humiliated. Nobody, how do you prepare for that? You literally don't. After that happens, her family literally disowns her. They're like, yeah, you knew your job, you knew your responsibility was to marry this king, this person, and you let us down, so we don't want you anymore. She's literally disowned. And so she's out in the streets, or I guess the slums, sewage, just everywhere. And so in this life that she gets to live and experience, she goes on, I believe in this initial one, she goes on to become like a trader and a merchant. She runs into this crew of people who are trading goods, and they teach her the game. Essentially, they let her go through these phases and these stages, and it's so cool to see her progress and everything like that. Well, after that happens, they just tell us she gets taken out during a big war that happens in the country. And so after that happens, we go back to the beginning, which is where this loop comes into the story. Is essentially, it is a giant loop. So assuming 7-time loop, we're here multiple times. And the cool part about it is that she gets to live different types of lives. She becomes a chemist, or I think it's a chemist, it might be some other form of science, but she experiments with different science related things. She becomes a knight in the army. Interesting part about the life where she becomes a knight is she's actually fighting in the war in that life. She sees the main guy that is the genius, or the mastermind, I guess you could say, behind this war that happens. And the crazy part about it is she is literally the only one left standing, and she's the only one that's able to put an injury at all on the main guy who is starting the war. And at this point in the story, we really don't know who he is. So there's this air of mystery around who is this guy? And so after this happens 6 times to Rishi, and she keeps going back to her fiance, literally the same moment. She keeps going back after she dies to the moment where the fiance is getting ready to break up with her. And for this 7th time that she goes, she actually runs into the person that is taking her out. Y'all, I thought it was so crazy. She actually runs into the man that is the mastermind behind the war, that also took her out in the life before the one she's in right now. And his name is Arnold Hine. Okay, so remember that. Our main character's name is Rishi, and the male main character in this show, his name is Arnold, right? And so Arnold is like this dark-haired bad boy villain, kind of nonchalant. And I'm not gonna lie right now, y'all, I'm kind of on a kick with the dark-haired nonchalant characters. I don't exactly know what it is. Arnold's kind of fine. In other words, Arnold's kind of fine. Well, the funny part about their meeting, y'all, is that the way Arnold and Rishi meet is she's running out of the castle because she's like, well, if I do this time, well, I could possibly run into one of the people I met in my past lives, and I'll be right on time. I don't have to take a bunch of stuff with me. There's no point in doing that. I'm just gonna flee the castle the quickest way I can. And I'm like, you go, girl, you better get out of there. Well, as she runs into Arnold, she falls over, she has a little conversation with him. They don't talk much, but then he goes, well, I don't remember exactly what he said, but then she goes, well, oh, well, whatever. She kind of runs past him, and he watches her as she walks away from him. Well, this girl, I kid you not, Rishi, she jumps off of like one of the top floors of the balcony, right? Like one of the top floors. I think they may be on like floor 3 or 4 at this point. And Arnold is like, excuse me? Who is this cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs lady? Like, I need to know more about her. He basically falls in love with Rishi at that moment. Can you imagine jumping off of, okay, I put way too much blush on. That is gonna go absolutely insane right now. Can you imagine if you jump off of the top floor of a balcony and a man who actually is supposed to be your worst enemy in this whole life and in this whole story actually falls in love with you? Like, you meet your husband because you jump off the top floor of a balcony. Like, personally, how many balconies are in my city? Because maybe I need to start jumping off of them. Like, okay. And y'all, immediately Arnold says to like one of his henchmen after he watches her do this, he's like, ready my chariot, or whatever he said. He's like, ready my chariot. And we don't exactly know what he's thinking, but all we've seen is that he is like, who is this woman and why is she jumping off of all balconies and surviving? Like, she has him so intrigued at this moment. She also has me very intrigued, but he is so intrigued at this moment that like he is like ready to see. There she is. Again, I already told y'all, he's the one that killed her in a previous life. And so in this 7th life, Rishi has decided that I'm going to take life very easy. She's worked really hard in her past life. And the interesting part is she remembers everything from her past. So all of the skills that she's built this foundation on have really come to her. Like, she knows everything. She can utilize all of her skills that she's taken in each of these lives. Essentially, this is episode 1. And Rishi is in like the middle of the garden. Her fiance is like chasing her outside. He's like, why are you not upset? Like, he's like really upset. Like, the townspeople are watching at this point. Like, they're like, what is happening? Like, where is she going? All this stuff. After a little scuffle and a little conversation comes out, and we find out that the king, who is her ex-fiance, has sort of been messing around with the girl that's also present, and Rishi apparently knows this other girl too. Arnold pops up in like the moonlight. You know how shoujo is, right? Like, y'all know how romance shows are. The light setting is perfect. The art looks stunning in this moment. And I kid you not, Arnold gets down on one knee to propose to Rishi. Excuse me? Excuse me? Like, you don't even know 2 words about my life other than the fact that I just got dumped by the man who's supposed to take over this throne. You want to marry me because you saw me jump off of a balcony. Like, which balcony in 2024 do I need to drop off to meet a man like this? What? Okay. Like, y'all, so that is essentially episode 1 of the show. And then it obviously follows like Rishi and Arnold's journey throughout. I've watched the whole series and I don't want to give out too many spoilers, but essentially we watch this budding love story between Arnold and Rishi, and the whole time Rishi is really trying to figure out, how can I stop this war from happening, because I no longer want to die. This is the life that I want to continue to live. There's very wholesome moments. There's very like sweet encounters between the two of them, and personally, like, I ate it all up. Like, I wasn't sure personally if I was gonna really like Arnold as a character. I also just so happen to be like a fiend for white hair anime characters. And as Arnold is not one of those, I really was kind of like uncertain about how I was really going to feel about Arnold personally, but I actually really liked him. Like, even though he had this like kind of hard exterior that wasn't really soft or kind or anything, he kind of did when it came to his like brother Theodore and other characters. And like Rishi is just a lovable character overall, but there were some things about the series that I wanted to talk to you guys about that I wasn't really okay with, especially Rishi. I felt like, especially in the beginning of the show, and maybe you all felt this way too, she definitely came off as this like very strong-willed, confident character. And even though she was always confident throughout, I really, low-key, y'all, I up there with Mau Mau. Like, to be honest, like, her and Mau Mau, to me, were carrying the romance girls for a little moment. Like, they were carrying the romance girlies. Okay, I was like, oh yes. Oh yes. My girls know what they're doing. They're confident. They're not based in a school. Which, again, I don't have any problems necessarily with school animes, but I'm tired of the school stuff at this point in my life, I think. But yeah, I just like really liked Rishi. And it just felt like toward the end of the show, or at least season 1, it felt like she was kind of like losing this like spark to me. Like, it was just too much about Arnold and too much. And maybe it was because of the whole like mini arc they had with Theodore that just really didn't work for me. Like, I was so bored and over the Theodore shenanigans. I was like, this obnoxious little brother is like going to drive me up a wall. Like, what did y'all think? But overall, like, Rishi is not a terrible MC. She lost a little bit of her spark toward the end of the show. There were so many cute moments. But yeah, she does have like her redeeming qualities. But one thing that I really wasn't a fan of was just how, like, in the beginning, they really portrayed her as someone who was like, I would never bow to Arnold. And there were times where I was like, oh, that seems like a little out of character for Rishi. But overall, it was pretty good. And another thing, I kind of talked about it, was Theodore. Theodore, my goodness. Like, if Theodore does not get out of here, like, we know that Arnold loved his little brother. Like, I can't, maybe they'll explain it better in like the next seasons, but I could not figure out why we needed such an extensive like breakdown of Theodore. Like, it was just so much. Like, I feel like that whole little moment kind of took away from the entire show. Like, it was such a random like anger and jealousy that the brother had. Like, I was like, I'm good. I'm so good off of him. Y'all, I was so good off of him, I promise. Y'all, but we have to discuss my favorite part also in the entire series, okay? My favorite part in this entire series was when Arnold took Rishi into town to see his town. First of all, okay, in this episode, Rishi had told him that she really wanted to go into Arnold's town to see how he lived and meet his people. His country or city, I don't specifically remember what they call it. It was the single one that she had never been to before. And so, oh, y'all, look at this blush. Like, do you see how this Juvia's Place, I always am 50-50 about using it. It's just so powerful. Like, it's like so powerful. But okay, whatever. She had always wanted to visit his country, and it's the one country she'd never really been to. And so it was really important for her, if possible, to go see it, to see, like, learn their culture, because it's so rich in culture, it's so rich in history. They have amazing technology compared to other places. And so it was just somewhere where Rishi always wanted to go to. And so what happens is he decides to take her into town. Oh my gosh, just thinking about this part, oh, it just gets me so excited. Like, I have butterflies right now. Arnold takes her to his jeweler. Well, another thing in one of Rishi's past lives was that she learned the ways of, like, stones and, like, jewels and things like that, right? This is some spoilers, so if you want to watch the show, you may want to pause, go watch the show, and then come back. Well, it's really dope because Arnold takes Rishi there. She meets the people. They're like, who is this woman? Hello, who is this woman that is trying to get with our prince? And we don't know about her, so we're gonna kind of size her up a little bit to see what she's about. And you can tell Arnold does this all the time with Rishi too. Compared to the jewelers, his was more of a, I'm sizing her up because I want to get to know her more because she's so interesting to me and I can't put a finger on what it is about her. Rishi had to prove which stone was real and which stone was the fake. Of course, my girl ain't no fraud. My girl ain't no phony. And she passes, as she should, with flying colors, right? And so the people are so excited. They love her so much. And the lady, so her and Arnold are like sitting down looking at like stones and everything. Obviously, at this point, Arnold is looking for his ring that he wants to put on Rishi's finger. But I don't think our girl knows that at the time. So, oh my gosh. And throughout the show, y'all, as well, Arnold is always just like staring at Rishi with these like gorgeous, deep blue eyes. Like, he has these like just deep blue eyes, like cold, but they're like so pretty, right? They're so pretty to me. But sometimes you'll just, throughout the show, you'll just see him kind of like staring at her. Like, he's like, staring to her soul, y'all, staring to her soul. And that's actually the first clip I saw of Seven Time Loop, and the reason why I actually wanted to watch it was somebody posted that on YouTube, y'all. It was a clip of him just staring. And the lady asked Rishi, hey, what color gem do you want for your ring? And so Rishi's like looking at the book, and she's staring at the book. And so what she says is, the lady, as the lady's like looking at her, and then she looks at Arnold, she's like staring at him, and she's like, do you have something the color of his eyes? Oh, I think my spirit left my body. Oh my gosh, me and the lady, the shopkeeper lady, had the same reaction. Okay, we had the exact same reaction. Arnold completely unfazed, completely unmoved. I don't even think his eyebrow lifted. Like, I'm gonna insert a clip if I have one.
に好きだと感じるものを。例えばリーシャ様はどんな色がお好きですか？
好きな色。寒い国の透き通った海を凍らせたみたいな、そんな色。 この人の瞳と同じ色をした石はありますか？あれ？
あらあら、まあまあ。
いえ、違うんです。今の発言におかしな意図はなくて、本当に他意はなく、アルノルト殿下の目の色が好きで綺麗だなっていつも思ってるだけなんです。
いつも思ってらっしゃるのね。少々お待ちくださいまし。おすすめできるものがありますからね。
But y'all, like, oh my gosh, like when I tell you I lost it. The lady, I think she scrambled and ran to the back. Like, it was just like those little moments. And Rishi tried to like play it off or whatever. She's like, oh my god, I didn't mean it like that. Clearly, girl, we know what you meant, girl. You don't have to play coy, girl. We know you want that man. Like, don't try to sit up here in front like you don't. That's okay, boo. Do your thing. But it was just moments like that that made the show like so fun and so cute. And the way Arnold would like come to Rishi's defense, or just everything about Rishi is so likable. I just want us to have some more of that like strong, confident girl. We did get it at the end, and I won't talk about what happens at the end, but she made me so proud, Rishi, at the end. I really thoroughly enjoy Seven Time Loop. And I feel like I haven't seen a lot of YouTubers like talking about it. Like people reacted to Seven Time Loop, obviously. And it's not an isekai, it is a time travel anime, more or less. Kind of like fantasy romance type vibes, not isekai. And so to me, like, it was so good. Like, I loved it. Oh my gosh, I'm looking over at my PC and I just noticed that Arnold is actually in my AI cooler. Forget what it's called, but I have his picture like staring like that. Oh my god. So yeah, y'all, I'm kind of obsessed with this show. And yeah, I love this show so much. I've actually been watching, this is totally a side note. Well, before I jump into that, if any of you watched Seven Time Loop, what did y'all think about it? Let me know in the comments. I actually did a review of Apothecary Diaries on my podcast, and I've been kind of doing a series called Peak or Week. And if I had to label Peak or Week for Seven Time Loop, I would definitely label it Peak. Maybe I should make Peak or Week its own series on YouTube, but doing this makeup and talking about this show was like having a girls chat, or like just any friends chat, I should say. Don't want to assume that it's not only girls watching, but it was such a fun show. I would highly recommend. I'm planning to watch more shows this season. I watched a bunch last season. I watched Apothecary Diaries. I've watched so many shows. My anime list will be linked in the comment section as well. But yeah, I wanted to do this because I feel like I watch people do like true crime and makeup on YouTube, and I was kind of looking for people who do makeup and anime. And I haven't seen anybody do it. So at least in recent years, I found some old videos, but I was like, well, I have a channel, why don't I do it? So if you enjoyed it, let me know, and maybe I'll do these more often. Maybe I can do them for the weekly series instead of just series that are over. But yeah, Seven Time Loop, that was my show, y'all. It was so good. Hopefully they bring it back for season 2. What other shows have I been watching? My Happy Marriage. I'm watching High Card. Ooh, I'm watching The Bartender Glass of God right now. Oh my gosh, that one's really good, very wholesome. I do want to watch some of the popular shows that are out that everybody likes so much. Of course we're gonna watch Demon Slayer, because why not? Demon Slayer is so good. So maybe we have more shows to talk about in the future. Anime makeup chats, because this was a lot of fun. So I hope you got to this point in the video. If you did, drop a stopwatch, a little clock. Drop a clock emoji if you got to this point in the video for Seven Time Loop. All right, hair is taking a loose. Let me put on a little lip gloss for the sake of the video. I probably should put on some lip gloss before I started, because I don't like my lips looking all crusty, okay? But yeah, you guys, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comment section. Would love to talk back to you guys and hear what y'all's thoughts are. What are you watching this season? Again, my anime list will be linked down in the description box below. I also happen to stream on my Twitch channel, so you can follow me over there if you want to keep up the conversations, or on Discord. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know if I should do these for other shows, or maybe some of the weekly shows that are already out. And yeah, let's talk about it, because I love to talk some anime and I don't have enough friends to do so. So I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, bye.